welcome again to this new video of learning React. So in the previous video we see some advanced stuff in form. We see also, or we extract some reusable components on the form. And in this video now we will start like calling the HTTP server or consuming a service. And to do that we're choosing or we will work with JSON or JsonPlaceholder, which is a fake online REST API for testing and prototyping. So REST it stands for Representation State Transfer, and API it stands for Application Programming Interface. So what this service does is he give us, or he allow us doing our CRUD operation. That means create, delete, read and update. Here we can see some example. For example, here you have the resource. It can be the post, comment, album, photo, to-dos, and user. If we click, for example, on post, we will see that here we have /post, and here we have those 10 posts, or more than 100 posts we have. So with the user ID, title, and body, and basically he can allow us send, add, for example, in post, delete, update, so do all the CRUD operation. So to use that or to start that, you will find in description a link to the GitHub repository where you will find this HTTP app. I want you to open it in your code editor, and after that install it, or install the dependency by typing npm or npm install. After installing it or starting it, you will see that it have this simple interface, just a button and the table. And if you go to the app, it's not like something that you can't create or something that we didn't see. It's just a normal table with some handle like the update and the create. So now we need to create, or we need to have something that can allow us to speak with the outside or with the backend. So if you're using Angular, you know that in Angular we use HTTP client or HTTP client module. Here you can use the simple way, which is the fetch API. This is the traditional way. You can use also jQuery with Ajax, and also it's working. But in when using React, I prefer, and also most of other developer prefer to use axios. So we need to install it. So let's install it. npm for axios for install, and let's type axios like this, and let's install the version 0.18, and let's hit enter. If we go back, so let's type npm axios, enter, and you will see how many weekly download this library has. So let's click in here. You will see that it's millions. So we're waiting. Let's see here. He starts downloading it. Let's go. See, just in this week, 8 million people download Axios. So just this week, 8 million people. And we see that it's compatible, or all the browsers supported. Here how you can install it. Also give you, for example, an example of how you can use it with this to export it. And after that, Axios has some built-in method, or has some CRUD built-in method, like with the get, post, put, fetch, and all the HTTP method. So let's wait until he install, and let's start working with it for getting the data. And here it is, it installed. Let's now start our server, and let's go and import it in here. So import axios. So import axios from axios. After that, I told you that the perfect place where you can call your HTTP server is in component did mount. So type component did mount, or just type component did mount, the first letter of each phrase, and here is it, component did mount. So here we need now to call axios. So axios dot, and here we should here from axios. So now axios dot, and see here we have get, we have post or fetch, we have push, we have delete, we have all like the HTTP method. And now we want to get the data, so we'll use get. So here, see in the URL it take, or in the parameter it take the URL. So let's grab the URL. Let's go back to our JSON placeholder to posts, and here the URL, that's the URL. So just copy it, go back in here and paste it, and this method it's return a promise. So let's see in here, axios promise. So that means we need first to store it in a data. Let's name it result equal to this, and since it return like promise, that means we need to handle promise, even like to use then and catch, or to use callbacks, or the best way, or the also like the newest way is to use await and async. So here let's await our function, and here let's use async. After that, let's just console log this response to show you how the response is. So console log, and here response, save. Let's go back to our React app. Let's open the DevTools, and let's see here in the console. So he's still refreshing. So now he's refreshed, and see we have an object that we call data. We all this object, so config data header request and the status code and status text. Let's see those data. We see an array of 100 elements, and in that array we have the user ID, body ID, title, the things that we have in here. That means we are receiving like correctly or receiving properly now the data. And here we can, like, we don't want all that object, we are interested just in this data, so we can use object destructuring in here. So let's use it. So here we're interested just in the data, and let's rename it posts like this. And here let's simply now set our state. So this dot set state to dot post, so posts. Save, and let's go back to test this. So here you will refresh, you will see nothing because we delete console log. Here we have our like our title, and if you go also to the component, search for our app, here see in the state you will have the 100 posts that we have, and you can see them also in here. Because if we go back to that to here, you see that we're already mapping through the state so that we can add the title. See in here we are already like using the map to post over, or to map over the post, and to add the tier with the ID of that post, and after that add a TG or a column of the post of the title of the post, and after that we have two buttons. So you see that this post, it does all of that. One for the delete, for the update, and the other one for the delete. And here we simply like send in the post. We can send just the ID, but I choose, or it's preferable to send all your posts. After that, here we have just choose handle. For the moment we still nothing, or we don't have nothing, but that's what we will see in the next video. So now we'll see how we can get into probes. If we again open the DevTools console, if we click on this update, we will see that here we have the object that we clicked on with the user IG1. If we click here on the delete, we should see, or we should see the number or the ID number 2. So that means that we log, or we see the one correctly. So now let's see how we can create a new post with this as button. So normally in our application, or in a professional application, here we will have or a formula or a form where we can add the title with the body. So at least choose two, and after that, if they are valid, click on add, and then we will add title, or we will add the post. But here, like, we're just assuming that or we're just testing this. After that you learn this with the basic, we will move and create with our, or continue with our project of the films. So now let's create this here, this create button, or this add button. So it's in here, let's delete this. First we need to create the object that we want to add or to persist in this database. So const, here let's name it just object equal to, let's use also axios dot, and this time we need to use post because we need to send data now. So this URL, it will be like we will use it multiple times, so it's better to extract it and put it inside a variable. So here const, let's name it endpoint or API endpoint, or whatever you like. Here let's use it endpoint, and here in the post let's use it also. But see, here in the post it have two parameters, first the URL and then the data or the object that we want to persist. So here let's give it first the endpoint, and second we give it the object. So object, sorry, this is not for here. So for the first we need just to create first the object, which will have at least, we say, two property, which they are the title. Let's just set it arbitrary, so title, yes, web for example, and the body. The body, for example, learn React or something like that. And here this post also, it return an axios promise, so we need to await it. So here const, let's put it also in this result, or let's use object structuring, or let's use nothing of truth, just type await. And here, since we're using await, we're typing async. And see here that the async in here, it's not like the async in here. Why? Simply because this is like a function, and this is a lifecycle hook method. So in the lifecycle hook method, we type the async at the beginning, but at the normal function or the arrow function or stuff like that, we type it in here. So now let's go and test that. So here let's open our DevTools. Let's go to network. So here for the moment we have nothing. Let's click on add, and we see that here a post, it got it's sent. Let's see it, and here, so post, it's sent to this IP address. It's success, that means it's added. Let's see at the response. So where is our response? I think it will be in here. Oh yeah, it's in here. It's created with the post to with this code. So let's again see. Here is it. It's true. It's got from this local host, and the code it's created. If you see, if I will see the response, we see the object that we created, and they assign a dynamic ID which is 101, and we see that the title and the body are the one that we create. If again, let's delete this. Let's add again. So it sends a request, it's okay, here the option, and after that with the code created, if we go back again, we see that it's created, and in the response we see the message or the object that we create. Because like in REST API, not by default, but by convention, it's good to send or to return the object that the user creates. So for example, that's why here when we create this post, we receive it in here in the response. So now we see that our function of adding its work as we wanted. Now I want you to add that object that we create, that add it in here at the first of the table. So just pause the video. We see many times how we can do this. I will help you. It's with the spread operator. So just pause the video and go and type it by your own. So I hope that you really pause the video. So here we need a new constant, so we use object destructuring of the data, and let's rename it to just post, because we send just post here equal to this. After that, let's use object destructuring. So first const is create a new array, posts equal to, first we have, or we add that post, and then we add the rest of our post. So this dot state dot posts, and finally we set the state. So this dot set state to our posts, and let's save. Let's go now and check. So it's refreshing, it's getting the data. Let's click on add, and here is it, the title. Let's click again on add, here is it, add, here is it, and we see that each time we click, and we see that it worked correctly. If we open again the DevTools, we click, for example, what's in here? The key, it repeats itself, no worries. If we type on this update, we see that we're getting the proper object. With the delete, also we're getting the object with the same ID. Now let's see for this update one, or let's create the update, the code for the update button. So here we see that we have we send the post message, or the post object. So let's delete this and let's start typing the code. So first we want, for example, to edit or to update the title. So post.title, and we will set it to, for example, updated or edited. After that we need now to use axios. So axios dot, and for like updating we have two methods, either the put or the patch. So for the put, now we need to give it our URL also with the number or with the ID of the post that we want to edit. So let's use text, and here let's type just like this. So here we will type endpoint slash the post ID. So here post dot id, and as a second parameter here, as you see, we need to pass the data, to send the data, and the data it's in post, or in that object that have a key of title. So this is for the put. If we want, for example, to use the patch, so I will show you. So here patch. So here we don't send like all objects, we send just the attributes or the things that we want to edit. For example, here we can add title and set it to edited or something like that. So this is the difference between put and patch. So for put, we use put to edit the entire project or the entire object. For the patch, we use it just to edit like some specific field. And here, as you see here, we send just the things or the things that the field that we want to change. But for the put, we send all the object. So let's for the moment use the put. Here we know that now it return return a promise. So we need to await it. So await, and here we need now to wrap it with an async. So like this. After that, now we need, so now the edit or the edit will function. So we need to see it in our array or in our table. So first let's clone the state. So posts equal, and let's use the spread operator to clone the state. So this dot state dot posts. After that, we need to search for the specific post inside the state. So const, let's name it index equal to posts dot index of, and here the post. After that, we need now to clone the post. So post with that specific index equal to that post, so clone it and here post, and finally we need now to set the state. So this dot set state, and here we send or we type post. So save. Let's go now here to our browser. He will refresh, and let's see, let's edit this one. So click on update, and here is it edited. If you go now again to your network tab, so here let's edit this. You will see that a push request, it's like send, and if you see the response, you see in here the object that we edit with the ID, user ID, the title with updated title and the body. And we see even in here that it's edited. Same for here. We wait a second and edit it. Here it wait and it got edited. That means that our edit button is successful, or it behaved the way we want. So now we create the add, the get first, then the add with post, and the update with put. We still need to this or do this delete. So let's do it. So here in the delete button we also have the post message or the post object. So first we will call axios with axios, this time delete, and here we need, or it take just one parameter, and it's exactly like this. So the URL with the ID that of the post that we want to delete, and now we know that this is a promise, so we need to await it, and here use async. So now, or in here, the post is deleted, so we need now to remove it from our table. So to use this, let's create a new post. So posts equal to this dot state dot post, and we will use the filter method. So filter, so here return to us the post that post dot id is different than the post dot id that we're sending. And finally we need to set the state. So here this dot set state, and with posts, so posts like this. So here we use the filter, and here in the in this condition we tell him to return to us all the posts that don't have their post ID equal to this post that we deleted. So save. Let's go and test this. So let's go to our browser. He's refreshing. Get the update, it's still working. So we will wait a little, and here is it. Add, it will also add the project, and after that, so I'm waiting for it to add. Here is it, and let's delete this third one. So delete. We will wait a little for the promise, and after that it will be deleted. Let's open our DevTools to check. Here is it, it got deleted. Let's go to network. Let's delete, let's delete this one again, delete. We see that it's still in options, and after that it will be deleted. Here is it, delete. Let's see the status. It's not deleted yet, I believe. It's still sending. Now it's deleted. Let's go to see the response, and it's a response of an empty object because we deleted it. So now we create our for or the CRUD, the essential HTTP functions with they are the get, post, put, and delete. And you see that when, for example, I click on one of those, it takes some time to see here the result. So this is what we call, because here we implement it, and this is what we call like a pessimist update or the pessimist thing. So first we're calling the server, then after like waiting, or after the server have the response and it's good response, then we do this. Now how about, for example, if we do this first, if we update the user interface first, then call the server. So let's type it in here. So now it will be faster than before. So save. Let me show you an example. So now let's go back. Here you should get in here. Let's click on delete and see that this will be deleted immediately. So click, it's gone. Click, it's gone. Click, it's gone. So this is will give like the user or the client the illusion that this application is very fast and it's very fast. But now, for example, how about if something went wrong in here? So if something went wrong in here, we need to make the state or go back to our original state. And for React, it's like very simple doing this. So first, here we need to create now. So a new const, let's type it or let's name it original posts, and it will be equal to this dot state dot post. And here, since we're using the await and the thunk to protect or to see if we have an error or not, we need to type it inside a try block or a try catch block. So here we will type this in here, and now in here we will use the catch to catch the error or the exception. And after that, here let's type alert, and in this alert we'll see the exception and set the state. So set the state now to our original state, like this, original posts. So by implementing this, it will give, so this is what we call like the pessimist update. First we edit or the UI or the user interface, then we call the server, and if something went wrong during our call to the server, we simply like put things the way it was before. So we simply revert the state to our original state. Now let's see, let's type an error, or let's do an error. Let's type in here something like this. For example, we don't have this in our app, so this is an error. But here, like React will fail, so let's add something else. So /2, for example, save. So we don't have this path in our server. Let's go back in here. So now it will get. Let's click on delete. So he's deleting it, but it's not like calling the server now. He will go to the catch, and normally we need to see our alert message. It will take some time. Here is it. Error request failed with status of 404. Okay, and see it go back again. Or the one that we deleted, after we see the error, we see it again in here. Let's do the same thing, or let's test with this. So this is just small so you can see it. So delete is delete now. He go to the server, he try to delete it from the server, but he will find an error because we don't have that path in the server. So first he will show us the error with the alert, and after that, when we click on OK, see now the error failed with the status of 404 not found. When I click on OK, we will see back now the title that we try to delete. So OK, and here is it. See now with this, our app it's become much faster than before, and I think with this pessimist update, it's much like better than the way it was before. So now let's see one way of how we can handle those errors. So we have two kinds of error. I think you know that we have expected and unexpected error. So for the expected error, it's the error that from the client side, or the client did. For example, he tried to access to some not found thing, or so basically those are the status of 404 or 400 bad request or not authorized. So the client side, we have unexpected error. The unexpected error is, for example, when our server is down, or in our database is down, or for example the network is down. So those are unexpected errors that normally should not happen. So to do this, first we need to extract or to catch just the expected one, and we will log them in here, and after that we will see how we can like handle the unexpected error using the interceptor. So first here, if this X error, here have other property called response. So response, if it exists, and this status, so response dot status is equal to 404, that means no found. In this case, return that alert. See, let us see it. Now let's see how we can handle the unexpected one. So we have in Axios what we call an interceptor. So basically an interceptor, or what an interceptor does is he intercepts our function, so all that function will go first from the interceptor, then go out. So to call it, we call axios dot interceptor, here is it, dot, and see we have to intercept what, the request or the response. So we can intercept both of them. For the moment, let's intercept just the response, and it have a function called use. And this use, it have two parameters. First the success, and then the error. So if success happened, you want, for example, to do this, and or if the error happened, you want to do this. For the moment, we don't want to success, so we pass null. We are interested just when an error happened. So here error, and it's a function. It's a function that we will send it like this, an arrow function. So here, let's create now our unexpected error, or expected error. So expected error, so equal, we have unexpected error, we said when we have the error dot response exist. Sorry for this. So error dot response exist, and when we have our, so error dot response dot status is great or equal to 400, and when this it's less than 500. For 500, those are like a network error, not client error, like this. So if we don't have this, that means we have an unexpected error. So when we don't have those expected error, that means we have unexpected error. That means in this case, let's just console log.error. So console.log, and here we'll console log our exception, because here in this reject it will go and it will execute this the catch code block, the things in here. If we have some error or this error function, it will execute this. If we want the success, or the first one that we send null, so this one for success, it will execute the things in here in this try. So I want you, by the way, I want you to do like this optimist update, to use it with the handle update, and also with the add, or with the handle add. So, and here after that we will display like a generic message, for example. So alert, it just type an unexpected error occurred. And let's assimilate an unexpected error. Let's see, let's add in here, let's add another slash. So /8, we know that this is, or that doesn't exist. So let's see, he's still compiling. When he finished, failed in where? X is not defined. Line 10, in here. So here we will type, so here is error and not X, that's error. Save now, and let's go to test. So we'll wait until we get the data. Let's open our DevTools console. Let's try to delete. So delete. See that he's deleting. Now the interceptor will go back. So it takes some time because I have like a slow network connection. Normally we should see the alert now. Let's see the network. Delete, and we see here it's 404. Not found. But why we don't have that alert? Let's see why. So we don't see nothing because those are like expected error. Let's try to have an expected error. Let's for example change in this endpoint. So let's add let's see another S in here like this. Save. So this is an expected error. So normally we should see this and log the error in the console. So again we will wait until we receive the data. No, not in here. Here it will not receive the data because this will be false. Let's try to add it just in our delete or just in here. So I will copy this and let's go to here, handle. Let's pass it again in here. Here let's add an S. Save. So now this endpoint it will refer to this one and not the other one. So we're getting the data. Let's try to delete someone or some things in here. Let's go to the network tab. See that it's still in options. Here in delete, now we get like the response. It's 404 and not found. Let's see the console. So normally I don't know why we don't see here. But normally we should see here like this or the console log that we type in here. I think something in this interceptor that it doesn't work. Let's go. Yeah, here I forget the most important thing, which is the return. So return promise dot reject, and here we send the error, and here we type the error. That's why we don't see anything, because this interceptor or this function wasn't returned anything. So now if we go back to our handle delete, we still have this error in here. So let's go back, let's open our browser, let's try to delete. So it will take some times. We know now this, and after that we should see the alert. See, now failed the status of 404 not found. And if we go back to the console, we don't see anything. Let's try to use now the unexpected one. So let's go here, let's add something else, for example /8/this. So save. Let's go back, it will refresh, do the same thing, and let's try to delete. So let's try to delete this. If we go back here to the network, so it's still in option. After that it will we will get the delete method. It will be 404 because we don't have that part. So I'm still waiting for the return. After that we will go and extract all that this interceptor, and we will put it inside another file, because with this interceptor we need to use it basically with all our call to an HTTP service. That's why it's a reusable component. See here we have the alert. If we see the console, we don't see the error. It's still, because it's still like a client side, and this is an expected error and not unexpected one. So if you want to simulate an unexpected one, just for example stop your internet connection or something like that. So let's correct what we typed wrong. So let's delete this /8. So let's create now a new folder. We'll name it, for example, services. So services, and inside that folder let's create http service.jsx. Create. Now let's go back and let's copy all that interceptor inside this method. So here cut, and come up in here and pass in here, and we need to use axios or to import it. So just copy it from here and let's paste it in here. Now let's use let's delete totally this axios from here. So delete, and let's go back in here and let's export default. So export default, and we will export this time an object. So sorry for this, it's like this, export default. So here first we want to export the get method. It will be axios.get. Same thing with the post, put and delete. So edit from here and here. This will be post. Now for here and here this will be put, and finally in here and here this will be delete. So those are like our axios method, or the important HTTP method that we use in this app. Now let's go back to our app. Let's import it. So import, so you can name it whatever you want. Let's name it HTTP, and here from service /HTTP service. So now we need to rename all those axios with HTTP. So here HTTP, and let's click on replace all dot, and it will all replace. So now we have http.get, http.post, http.put, and http.delete. Let's save and let's go and test this. So here is it. We see now that the get it's happening, or it's okay. Let's click on add. We will see that also it will take some time because we didn't like add, or we didn't put like the delete the pessimist or the optimist update. We type those with the pessimist update, so it takes some time, then it added. Let's see for the delete, click and it deleted. Same thing for the update, it will also take some time and then it will be deleted. Why? Because we leave it, or I leave it, for me I leave it in the previous way. So for you guys, you need to do this exactly the same way like we typed in here with this handle delete, or what we call the optimist update. Let's see if it's updated. It's not yet. And here it is, we see that it's updated. So other thing that we can improve is this hard code in here of this API endpoint. So for example, we want to use, or we will use multiple endpoints, so it's not a good way to hard code them all in here. That's why let's go and create another file. We will name it, for example, config.json. And here let's type a JSON format like this. Let's type here, let's name it API, and we will set it to this string that we have in here. So let's paste it in here and save. If we can have, or we have a lot, we just add like comma and the key of the other object. But for the moment we have just one and we name it API. Now we can delete all of that, and let's import our JSON or our config. So import, we will name it config from, and here it's slash config.json. Now we need to change all of those, so Control F if you're in Windows and change it to config, so config.api, because the key it's API and let's type replace all, and let's see now. So save, let's go back to the browser to check if everything is working fine. So he's refreshing. Now we're getting the data. That means we're accessing to that specific URL or the API. Let's delete, and we see that also it's deleted. Now let's add some toast or some message. For example, when we add or when we update or when we delete, we will see like a message or a toast that tells us that you, for example, you delete this or you add this. So to use this, we need to install the other dependencies. So npm e for install and toastify, and let's install this version. So 4.1 and enter. So guys, sorry, the name of the library was like React Toastify, so just add this prefix of React first. So React Toastify, and you can see like the npm or the documentation of it while it's installed. After that, we need to import it here, and we need also to import its style. So here is it, it's installed. They tell us this vulnerability because now they have like a higher version, the version 5. So if you want just to go and install it or install it without specifying the version, so that you will like install the latest one and you will not see that message of the vulnerability found and stuff like that. So first let's import it and import, and we need just one function in it. It's called toast container. But first let's from, and here React toastify, and here let's specify the function which is toast container. Here is it. After that, let's import the style. So import, it's in React testify slash dist slash react testify.css, and this toast container we will type it in here in our launcher, and let's put it inside our React fragment. So like this, close it in here, save. Let's go back now to our HTTP service. Let's import toast. So import from React testify, so React toastify, and here we want to import toast like this, and here instead of other let's call toast dot error. So we have toast dot success dot toast info and a lot of them. Now let's see an error, or let's have an error. So let's go to here and let's add in here, for example, let's change this just from the backtext just to the normal way. So here we will type it just like this inside choose bracket. So that means we need to delete this also, delete this and this, use just the plus, so the normal way, plus, and here delete this. So, and also we don't need this, and also this here let's add for example s, so s in here plus. So save. Let's go now to our delete to test that. So he's refreshing. Let's click on delete. Here is it. Unexpected error occurred, and you see this timer in here. It will go and it will end. It will disappear automatically. try to delete and see here. Now we see that here we have those things in here. You can also like type it if you want for the success or the update. So basically if you go to npm toastify, so toastify, it will understand that it's a React toastify, and you can see all like the toast function that you have or the example of them. So if you see in here, so this is for success info, this one for the error, the one that we just typed, and this is basically for the warning. So here demo if you want like to read about documentation, and I think here is some example of it. So here when we use like this toast, we know that this toast is a function, and we understand now, or we know that in JavaScript functions are also considered as object. That's why here we go to this error using the dot notation dot. Let's see now if we don't add this error, we leave it just like this toast. Save. Let's go. I think we still have the error. We still have error. Good. Let's go now and try to delete it. We will see. So delete. See now, I think with this toast it's pretty than the way we were having. So delete, and here is it. Unexpected error occurred. When it will finish, the one that we try to delete, it will go back. So delete. Here is it. So I think with this one it's better than the red one that we were displaying before. Now let's see how we can like handle logs and errors. So here for the moment we're displaying them in the console, or here in the console, and it's like fine since we're in the development machine. But if we're in production and this app, it's for example we're deploying it to another server, so we can like get access to that console. We can get, but it's not good. The better way is to use like a console or a login handler. So one of those, we can use Winston if you know it, but this time since it's very famous I want to show it to you. It's called Sentry. So Sentry, you need to have an account for it, and it's free. They have some free plans. So here Sentry, it's the application monitor and error tracking software. So to use it, first you need to install something that's called Raven. So let's go to install it. So let's delete this. So raven-js, and let's install this version. So this version, and hit enter. Now while it installs, let's go back. So this Sentry, we first, as I told you, we need to have an account. So if you select the pricing, you will see that they have some free plans. So here for developer, real-time error tracking, intelligent duplication, and support for every language, and it's free. So now let's sign in. So we need to have an account. If you want, for example, you can sign in with one of your Google or GitHub or even Azure DevOps if you have it. So I will sign in, and after that I will be back to you. And see here it show you like a programming language, so of the one you want to choose. So for example, since we're working with React, so we will click here on React, and see it have also browser, servers, mobile, desktop, and all. After that, let's create a project. We will give it a name. So here is it. We need to install this. Is waiting for verifying event. And here it show you how you can like connect with Sentry. Here we need to install also this. So just copy, go back to your console log, and let's paste it in here. After that, we need to move to our index.js, and we need to copy this. So after this, of course, it will install. We will go to index.js, and here first we need to import it, like they show us in here. So where is it? This one. And after that we need to initialize it. Here is it, it's finished. So let's add that in here. Let's also import this, and let's import it in here. Save. Now they show us here an example if we want to test this. Now let's go back to here and let's import Raven. So import Raven from Raven.js. Here is it, and here now we need to type Raven dot capture unexpected. Here is it, capture unexpected, and this is all what we need to do. And now when we have an error, we will see it here in Sentry. So just click on project, select your project. For example, if you have many, just select one that you're working with, and here you can see now your errors. Or instead of seeing them in the console, for example, when you're deploying your application, now you can just go and see them here in Sentry. So I think this is all for this course, or for not the course, just for this video. Now we will go back to our project or our film project. So first, now we need to add some backend for our project, and we will not use, of course, this JsonPlaceholder. We type it just to show you how we do things and also how things work. Now we will go and so you will find this again in the link in the folder. Films node with API, but if you want, for example, to learn how you can create this exactly API, you can find it in the term or in the course of learning node. It's the one that will build this API line by line and with all its phase, with the test, development, and also production when we deploy it at the end. So now we could have, or those data of films, we will store them in a real time or in a real database, which is we will use MongoDB. So first you need to install MongoDB on your laptop. So this is what will be the topic for the next video. First we will see how we can install MongoDB, and after that we will go and start working and consuming our real Node API or Node REST API. So this is all for this video. We see some basic way, or we see how we consume those data from JSON web holder. Thank you for watching, and see you next.